Hello, I'm Jono, and I have a problem. I want to be a DJ, but I don't have anywhere to DJ. In the past, I've used tables and boxes and other things, but those setups were temporary garbage. So I decided to take matters into my own hands and took apart my friend's desk. After most of it was taken apart, he was more than happy to hop on board and help me out. We laid out the big pieces exactly where we wanted them to go to make the platform and used the smaller pieces to stabilize them. Then we were lucky enough to get some spare wood from our neighbors. That included some long 4x4s and some sheets of plywood. Ooh, also some L wood piece things. We cut those down to the sizes we needed for the walls and to elevate the platform. And while my friend did most of the sawing, I did all the sanding for all the pieces. And of course, we used the proper safety equipment at all times. Hear that, Osho? We're chilling. After a bit of grinding and sanding, all the pieces were pretty much ready to go.
Nice.
We wanted to give this bad boy a nice, handsome look, so we ran over to Home Depot and got some black spray paint enameled stuff. We only got one can, which in hindsight was not quite enough, but we made do. And then it was on to painting the walls, which was pretty quick work and definitely the most satisfying. After we got a solid coat on everything we wanted, I got a little impatient and decided to use a leaf blower to speed up the drying process. Soon realized, though, it wasn't the best technique and decided to move on to other things. We laid out the legs on the back of the platform where we wanted them to hopefully best distribute the weight, and we turned it over and screwed all of them in where we wanted. You already know we had to boost up this platform because biscuits love elevated surfaces. And I am indeed a biscuit. Anyway, our platform was finally shaping up and looking good and could support human weight, which for those of you making your own DJ booth at home is a good thing. Ooh, we also got some pad things to put on the bottom of the legs to help with the wobble and the floors. We moved the platform inside to double check that it fitted, that it fit. And just like that, we were cooking with fire. We also made sure it could support the speakers and wouldn't be too wobbly. It was pretty near perfect and it was ready for the next steps, which were the walls and table and finishing touches. At this point, you may be wondering why my buddy seems to be doing all the work, but somebody had to get these fire angles.
Bruh.
I promise I did a lot of work off camera. You just have to trust me. Anyway, once the platform was solid, we started figuring out how the walls were actually going to work. We cut 4 L-shaped support wood things, the ones we got from our neighbor, and these would be our supports for the walls. They would also be the slot where the speakers could slide right into. And of course, we double checked that the speakers would actually fit between. We also cut off thin little pieces to cover up the L's in the front and to act as a little stopper for the speakers. It was really coming along now, and we added the first wall, and we decided to add an extra support or two to make sure the whole thing didn't just collapse. And we added on the second wall and screwed on those other L pieces to hold up the table and secure the walls. Last important thing was to attach the tabletop. And just like that, it wasn't just a pile of wood anymore, and it was starting to look like a beautiful DJ booth, and it could hold a person, so that was a great sign. That was all fun and games and stuff, but now it's time to get this bad boy inside. As I said, I had been putting in the work, and I also run pretty hot, so I had to take off my shirt to get this movement going. All right, I blurred it out for sensitive viewers. It was definitely a challenge, but with the power of teamwork and channeling our inner pivot, we got it eventually exactly where we wanted it to go. But it took some time. You can see some of the janked leg patches we did underneath, but you can just ignore those and they'll be on the bottom anyway. Luckily, we had a couple extra hands today, and that was a big help. After a little more effort and a little slide, we got it exactly where we wanted it to go, and it fit perfectly, but we already kind of knew that. Oh yeah. But then we added in the speakers, and it was just like Tetris. I could do some cool transition thing here. Didn't really pan out. It was finally all coming together just as I had hoped. We tried to also get a little fancy with it and add this little skirt thing to cover up the front. But after the first couple events, it immediately fell off. My friend and I signed the bottom to make it official, and we are ready to play some tunes. Hell yeah. And I must admit, it was looking pretty snazzy, but still not quite good enough. Unfortunately, I didn't film me making these final adjustments, but I did make some final adjustments on my own off camera.
Wow. 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 Wow.
I added some cheap LED strips, super high quality LED strips around the booth to make it pop. I also added a little cage in front of the speakers and screwed that in to protect the speakers and to make it look cooler.
Wow.
I also added this table thing on top with the spare wood we had. It covered up the amp and all the wiring and also served as a place to hold my laptop while I'm mixing. Also, after the first few parties and events, the part of the floor began to cave in a little bit, but it was nothing an extra slab of plywood couldn't fix. You may have noticed the Greek letters, and yes, I am in a fraternity. But we're not like other fraternities. We're the engineering fraternity. One of my other friends actually printed out the letters on his 3D printer, which is pretty cool. Since we are a professional fraternity and partying isn't necessarily our main focus, I was actually the first DJ in the fraternity. In fact, before these speakers we got, we pretty much played off a 99-cent store karaoke machine. Since then, this booth has actually been through about 2 years of parties and events and has held up very strong. I've also taught a bunch of my friends and new members in the fraternity that want to learn. Some of them are as good as me now, if not better. But that's good because I'll be graduating soon, so they can pass on the legacy and hopefully make it even better. Anyway, it's time for booth. It was quite a journey to get here, and looking at where we started and where we ended, I'm quite happy with the results. Hopefully, our hard work and the booth live on. All right, yeah, that was the DJ booth. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for watching. I guess this is the part where people ask for likes and subscribers and comments. So, yeah. If you could do those things, that would be great. Also, I'm supposed to say to check out my other accounts on Instagram and TikTok. They're both just jono.graves. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next project. Jono signing out.